I've asked you to bring certain items in, but when we do it, if you feel you have something that's better for that, or if you want to spit out on it, you're absolutely more than welcome to change or not do it. Some of the stuff I haven't done with you before, so I just wanted to give people the option. Don't worry, and I don't want you to hurt yourself, so if you feel uncomfortable, pop yourself. I'm going to start quite low down. Pop yourself on a mat in a cross-legged position. Now I feel quite calm and subdued, so hopefully we can have quite an intense but calm class, so it's nice and slow, and you know, you're going to feel very refreshed and lovely afterwards, if not a little bit stretched. For a moment, all we're going to do is just begin to move your head, just from side to side, and just leave it on one side. Let it move on that side, so just move your chin to let the ears sweep backwards and forwards across the shoulder. Obviously, what I don't want you to do is pull on your neck or cause any problems, or have pain to be when you crick your neck. So it's just a case of letting that movement be nice and slow and fluid. And then bring it back to a stationary position. And with your opposite shoulder, if you feel you can, encourage your shoulder to move just forwards and backwards just a couple of times. And all that's doing is just giving it some movement around the shoulders and the shoulder blades. And then inhale, calm back up nice and slowly, and as we exhale, let's take it over to the other side. And then again, just let that ear hang, just feel that stretch begin to happen. And if you feel you can, you're going to sweep your ear over the top of your shoulder from back. It doesn't have to be very exaggerated. You might feel like you need to move your neck around more because you've been at a computer or a car or whatever. Just a couple more. And then let the head flop. And just see if you can rotate. It doesn't have to be big movements, just little movements. A few times backwards and a few times forward. And then lifting up and just pop your head so your nose and your eyes are parallel with the ground. And all you're going to do is draw a figure of 8 with your nose. So you're drawing across the ground a figure of 8. And you're going to let your back have a little wobble as well. So your shoulders are beginning to have a little move as well. It's not all stationary. And let that movement get a bit bigger. So draw the nose all the way towards the knees and back towards the centre of the body. And one more time. And then come back up. And then do some little figures of 8, just gently, because you're leaning on the back of your neck now. Little figures of 8 towards the ceiling. Again with your nose, just to feel the movement. It's changing movement in the neck. Obviously, if you have neck problems, we want you to be very slow and very careful. Just do a couple more of those. And then back to neutral. And if you feel you can, you're going to let your chin go up and let your head drop. If you feel there's pressure on your neck and you feel uncomfortable, you can actually put your hands on your neck to drop your head back. If you feel you can, just let the head go. Then you've got that stretch down the front of the body. So we're going to breathe into the throat, nice cool air. Now, I want you to push your chin away from your jaw up towards the ceiling, so your bottom teeth are going to come out over the top of the teeth. Set. So you're pushing your chin up, really pushing through. Relax the jaw, and then exhale, bring your head back down to your chest, back's nice and straight. Breathe in. Tuck that chin in, so pull your chin back towards your thyroid gland, really up and into the body at the top of the collarbone, so you're encouraging the stretch down the neck there. Lift your head back up, take your hands up and stretch through the body. Retain the breath and very slowly let the breath go. And feel as though there's movement happening outside of your body, across your shoulders and across through your neck. One more on each side, a little reach on each side. Bring your hands together and then take them down to the back of the head. In this position, before we move, all we're going to do is draw a figure of 8, so our tailbone kind of moving through in the figure of 8, and it's making the shoulders move. And in this position as well, we may be moving the body, but your elbows are pulling back the whole time, so you're encouraging. It's kind of an awkward thing to do, but got it right, start to feel it moving and stretching all the way through the shoulders. Then back to your stationary. Take a big deep breath in. Now keep your back straight, tuck your chin down, tuck it back towards your thyroid gland, let your elbows come heavily forward, and just feel a stretch through the top of the back and through the top of the neck. Big deep breath in. Stay here, let the breath go. One more time. Exhale, lift the hands up, stretch the elbows back so you open at the front of the chest, let the head rest on the hands. Big deep breath in, expand through the chest, so really let the torso expand. And exhale, let's come back down. Look at your chest, breathe in and see it expand. Take a nice long breath in and retain it. Yeah, tuck your chin back as much as you can, let the air go, keep your back straight. Inhale, lifting back up, take the head back, rest it on the hands, let the breath go. And with the head looking up, you're going to put your necks now in a much more fragile position, so be careful. You can just snake through your body again, but your head's leaning back and your arms and your chest are open. Just encouraging a bit more movement. Be very, very cautious the whole time we're moving with the neck. It should be very mindfully done. And then come back up. Take your hands up, put them into prayer. Big deep breath in. Lift through the body. Then push through your fingers. Stretch through the fingers first before you push through the hands. Let the breath go. Open up the hands. Rotate wrists. Squeeze your fists together. Exhale, stretch through your hands. Place one hand down, reach up as tall as you can get, and then exhale, let's come over and have a lean. We're going to take the hand all the way round the front, round to the other side. Inhale, come back up. Lean across, keep your knees and your bottom still. Breathe in, all the way round the front, nice, feeling the stretch all the way as we go. And one more time. Exhale over, coming round, reaching out the whole time we're going. And then bring your hand up, bring the other hand up, bring it into prayer. Straighten your arms, reach through the body. Exhale, push through the fingers to stretch them first, and then push up through the arms. Just for a moment, we're not rotating the arms. All we're doing is we're feeling those shoulder blades just gliding across up and down the back, just to release any tension. Big deep breath in, come nice and tall. Place your hand down. Let's have a big reach to start with. So we're going to feel it from the hip here first. Big deep breath in. Now let's really give a nice big reach all the way around the front, so we're opening up the back. And inhale, come back up. Retaining. And then exhale, so it's nice and fluid, nice and slow. And then one more time, inhale up. Retain the breath as we lean over. And we exhale all the way back. Inhale, coming back up with the hands. Turn the fingers over, push them straight up, stretching through the fingers and through the arms, and we're going to take them all around the head. So what you're going to feel is done quite mindfully, so not only your shoulders moving, you can feel all the way underneath your body moving. So think about what the spine's doing, opening up and releasing any tension in the shoulders, just the same direction quite a few times. So really start to feel it on the point where you feel it's most resistant or stiff. Just take a minute to go through that, so you're not just throwing them around. Feel where the point of most resistance and the point of weakness. And now let's change direction, same again. So we're going to feel that stretch, feel the point of resistance, and then feel it release. So we're sitting on that point. We know where the difficulty is when we're working through our back. We can feel where it is through our shoulders. And we're allowed consciousness to go to that area, so we're a bit more in tune with what's going on and how we need to release any stress in the areas. One more time. And then inhale, coming up nice and high. Exhale, take your elbows out, take your hands down. Let's clasp the hands together. And let's draw back. And if you feel you've got the ability, we've done this one quite a few times before, you can actually turn your hands to face the other way. Don't worry if not, but it just increases that. What we want is the shoulder blades drawing together. So your chest is going to lift naturally, but your shoulder blades are actually doing the work. So bringing everything into the centre line of the back. So that's what you're holding. In this position though, don't pull too much, because I don't want to cause problems down the back. We're going to take the head up. I'm going to breathe and expand through the chest, so let it lift as much as we can. Retain. Exhale, chin to chest. Take a nice slow breath in. And as we exhale, drop the hands, put the hands on the knees and lift the head. And the same principle as we had before, let's draw figures of 8s with the nose towards the ground. But we're actually going to keep lifting, so we're lifting the head up slowly and drawing 8s as we go. We're drawing them all in front of the face towards the ceiling, and then all the way back down. It's subtle. You're going to feel this all through your neck, and it might feel quite intense later on, so that's why we're doing less movement but more concentration on what the movement is. And then lift the head up. Bring your hands into your prayer position. Lattice. Big deep breath in. And we're going to round through. See me round through before we even move the hands. So rounding through. So bringing all the muscles together in the front spine of the body. Pushing through. My lower back is still engaged. It's just my shoulders are activating. So we're opening up. Breathe in and feel those shoulder blades open at the back. Breathe in and retain the breath. Chin to chest. Hold that nice open. Exhale, stay here. Inhale, lift up and open up the spine. Nice elongated spine, coming up with the hands. Breathe in and retain. With the air retainer, round the back again, but keep that air in, rounding through the shoulders to your chest. Exhale, lift the hands back up. Open up the hands one more time. Exhale, take the hands behind the back. Let's draw back and open up the chest and the hands again if we feel we can. And then return the hands back to the knees. And rotate through the shoulders. So what you're going to do is feel all across the back of the rib cage, the back of the spine, going to the ribs, all around the front of the body. Feel that oscillation, that movement, that release. And with your hands on your waist, you're just going to round through your shoulders, bring everything, so you bring everything, your head, your shoulders, your belly button towards your heart. And breathe in, and the point on your body, but at the back, you're going to try and bring it to the middle of your back and lift the head up. Inhale, coming back. Exhale, back up. Hold position here. And then back to neutral. The shoulders. And then let's just let the feet go. Because I should imagine we've probably started to feel a bit of cramp there. And make sure you feel as though, I don't release. So just let them rotate and move. Okay. And we're going to turn to a position. So we've got one leg knee that's bent and it's sitting in the centre line of the body, and one leg out to the side. I'm going to sit up nice and tall on that tailbone. Okay. Make sure there's no tension through the head. What we're going to do is just reach down that straight leg as far as we can go. I mean, obviously I go low, but you don't have to go all that far. What we want to do is feel the stretch underneath the carriage there, and the stretch on the side of the body. So we're going to reach the hand up and keep that stretch going. So what we can feel is down the sides of the body towards that. Hold that position. Now, drop your heel. If we can, we're going to keep hold of that leg wherever we are. I'm going to open up the hand behind and let that shoulder be really heavy. So look up towards the ceiling, draw your shoulder blades in. When you draw the shoulder blades in, it's going to push your chest up. And that's what we want. And be really restricted through your breathing. So really making the air in, get in those lungs. One more time. And then exhale, reach all the way across, back over, and place your hand not in front of the body, not near the foot, but in an in-between point. The bum on your knees still, keep your head nice and neutral. Breathe and expand through your tummy. Exhale. One more time, breathe in. Exhale. Walk your hand back, lift your head, walk your other hand back from your other leg. Bring your foot in, and then let's take it out to the other side. So, we are back into our neutral position, spine's nice and tall. We're going to reach that leg, hand down towards the foot as far as we can go, so we can start to feel the stretch open through the side of the body. So we lift the hand up towards the ceiling, so stretching and still elongating through the side of the body, and then reaching the hand over the top. So holding the position, we're going to breathe. And another breath. Now see if you can let that hand fall out behind you. Let it drop. Let it open. Take your head up towards the ceiling. Now draw your shoulder blades. Actively think about your chest lifting because you're drawing the shoulder blades together. Look it up towards the ceiling. Now breathe into that limitation. Breathing in. And let the breath go. Let that hand be heavy. You might want to move the fingers or the wrists. Absolutely fine. Hand again. Let it go. Lift the hand up towards the ceiling. Exhale. Reach the hand out in front and place it down. Take a deep breath in. Head be heavy. Do that one more time, breathing in. And let it go. And then inhale, lift your hands up, release. And then we're going to very gently. If you did the movement class on Thursday, you're going to be quite familiar with these different kind of moves. So we're going to bring the knees in and come onto our knees and lift. We're going to have a little sway from side to side on our hips when we're up. Just take a minute to feel quite relaxed in the hips. We're going to dig our toes in. We're going to place our hands on our back, and we're just going to let those hips fall forward. There should be no tension in this area of your back here, where you just squeeze your bum muscles. Draw your shoulder blades, so your shoulder blades are opening your chest. Pushing the hips forward now. Now I've got lots of flexibility in my spine. Don't want to go too far because it's too much. What I want you to do is feel this area here begin to open. So really support your spine. Squeeze your bum. Big deep breath in. As we exhale, we're going to contract and round. Bring the hands towards the ground and really arch through. Exaggerate that arch as much as you can. Now we're going to breathe and expand the tummy. Retain and just open those shoulders as much as you can. And exhale, chuck your belly button in around as much as you can. Chin to chest, back in towards collarbone. Inhale, lift the hands up over the head. Place them on your back, place them on your spine, squeeze your bum. And exhale, like a push forward now. Again, you're supporting your spine, you're going to squeeze your bum so your bum, these glutes are very much engaged. You're going to use that, the head's going to be nice and loose. Draw your shoulders open by pulling the shoulder blades together. Big deep breath in. And let's over exaggerate as we come back down, so we're opening up the spine. Drop the head, chin to chest, breathe and expand the tummy. Exhale, draw, really rounding as much as we can. Let the head fall in a nice loose position. And what we're going to do is going to push through on the feet. Now it doesn't matter if you keep your knees slightly bent, but we're going to come up and we're just going to let the body fall towards the knees. So we can feel that stretch through the back of the legs. And the head's nice and loose. I'm just going to let the shoulders be really heavy. So what I want you to effectively feel as though the spine is really opening up. Your head and your shoulders are pulling the spine and the vertebrae to get space in between each one of the vertebrae. You're nice and heavily forward, feet put the weight in the front of the toes. We're going to have a little movement here, so just have a little space from side to side. And all you're doing is letting the head down. Unless you've got blood pressure problems, then lift your head up. But if otherwise, let the head move. Enjoy the position. Find a nice place within this position. Now, if you can, I want you to try and straighten the legs. If you, that means you need to put your hands onto your body so you can still let your shoulders and arms be heavy. Your legs, should I say, you can do. You can have the hands on the ground, but we're just in a nice heavy position. So really, although we're stretching here in the hamstrings, we're also thinking about what's happening. We're going to come back down. And we're going to place our knees down. Hands are going to come underneath our shoulders. Inhale, take your head back. Now, exaggerate this position by drawing your shoulder blades back as much as you can, tilting your tailbone as much as you can, really engaging. You can feel that stretch through the tummy. And now exhale, exaggerate it as much as you can and arch the back as you let the breath go. Inhale, taking it back up. Take your head back. Retaining, I haven't said exhale yet. And now exhale, contract round. Inhale, one more time, taking it up. Chin up, retain that breath. Now exhale, contracting round. And in this position, let your hips move. So although you've got that nice round movement through your shoulders, your hips just a little sway from side to side. And then back to neutral. Now, whenever we do things to do with the back or the tummy, we have to concentrate on the hip flexors as well, because it's as much connected as the glutes, and the hip flexors much connected to these 2 points as everywhere else. So we are going to do a little stretch with the hip flexors. What I want you to do is, in your own time, bring your foot forward. Now, I know most of you want to stand up and come into it, and that's fine. Drop your back knee back. So you've got that nice stretch through the hip flexor there. And in this position, you're actually going to spend some time moving through the hips and through the hip. In fact, if you feel comfortable enough to, we're actually going to let the front knee move and the hips move. So we can even let the knee fall out to the side and let that hip drop down if you feel comfortable. If it's uncomfortable, just stay up, because you might be in this position thinking this is enough. But for those that can, you're going to encourage some hip movement. It's not about having the stretches muscles, it's about getting freedom in those hips and up. So whatever feels comfortable, you can use both hands, you can use no hands, I really don't mind, but just move through the hips any way you want to. And it's a case of thinking, I sit down a lot. I don't want to all the tension in my hips. We have a whole lot of tension anyway in our hips, but when we're stressed and we're sitting in front of the computer and we have a lot of tension, and it's worse. And then let's take the foot out behind us, give us a little wobble just to release as much as possible. We're going to do that on the other side. So we're going to come up and place the foot down, and then in your own time, spend some time moving through all your hips. You might want to drop your knee out, drop your hip further towards the ground. It really is what feels comfortable for you. I'm very flexible in my hips and my legs, so I can move all angles, but I know it's uncomfortable for some people. But this is the thing with these kind of movements in these hips, it helps relieve back pain and sciatica, digestive issues, because we do hold so much anxiety in our digestive system through our hips, like a protection for ourselves. So we're just going to let that have a move. I know we're quite exaggerated, we'll spend a bit of time on it, but it is really important. Just have one more lifting. And then you're very fortunate enough down and just sink into child's pose just for a second. So just a nice big deep breath in. Now we'll roll back up through your back. We are going to need the bolster or the folded cushion or the rounded towel, whatever, just the small thing. We're not on the chair anytime soon, but what I want you to do is bring yourself down onto the mat, and to start with, put your elbows underneath your shoulders. And in fact, you always know if you're in the right place with these things, because you can put your hands on either bicep and you can comfortably grab them. Put your hands down so you now know that the shoulders and the elbows are in line. And in this position, we're going to see if we can put the feet together, push the hips into the ground and pull the heels towards the bottom. And we're going to lift the head, keep the elbows nice and engaged against the ground, squeeze the bum muscle, get your shoulders down away from the ears. And I want you to breathe into your tummy as deeply as you can and push it to the ground. Breathing in. Retain and exhale, let it. Let everything relax. Now breathe in, pull those heels in, look up with the head, retain. Exhale, let it relax. Last time, breathe in, engage the feet, the head. Now exhale, let everything drop down. The feet, body's going to come down, hands underneath your shoulders. Inhale, coming up, round through the spine. Find that lovely sweet point. Sit on it for a moment. And then back down into child's pose. So this is when it starts to get a little bit intense. And what I want you to do is pick what works for you and then minimise the movement if it's uncomfortable. So, as I can't regulate you all so well, you're going to have to take responsibility for yourselves, I'm afraid. You're going to inhale and come back up. And then we're very slowly going to lower the hips back down. But we are going to take our bolster around a towel and we're going to put it on the hip bones. We'll rest the body on the hip bones. That's a very noisy noise. And you'll notice as soon as you've done that, you're going to have a bit of a lift because your arms aren't having to take all the weight because your hips are in the bolster. So if you want to then slide your hands back a little bit, bring your elbows in and push your hips in, because you feel you've got better support, you can do that. You might still be down here, but if you're down here, just think how when I squeeze my bum, lift my head, I can push my hips against the bolster. Think about doing that. Shoulders are nice and rounded. Give yourself a little bit of movement through them. You've got a bit more freedom now because you're not having to put too much weight through the arms. Head's nice and loose. Give it a wobble. Squeeze your bum muscles so the hips are going towards the ground of the bolster because these muscles here are engaged. Try not to put it in the back. Obviously, you're going to have a curve in the spine. That's what we're kind of working towards, but we're working from here and the shoulder blades. So if we think we draw the shoulder blades back, big deep breath in. Now let everything drop down. That's nice, isn't it? Lovely feeling, actually stimulating a bit of digestion as well. Now push through the hands, come up nice and slowly, and you'll be happy to know, find that sweet point for a second. And have a movement through the hips. Into child's pose. Have a nice breathe in and out. One more breath.
Before we do anything now, we're just going to, before we use the bolster again, although you can use this if you need to, so I'll keep it there so I can demonstrate. We're going to walk up, keep the bum, we've done this before, we're going to keep the bum and the knees in line with each other. And then going to walk the hands down and drop the weight. What people tend to find is they're uncomfortable. So if you want to drop your weight down onto that cushion, so it's taking a bit of the strain you can do. So your shoulders, it's a good way to stop the shoulders from dropping so far down, or even having the head on it. It just gives you that little bit of least resistance. So it's kind of just enjoying going to the pose rather than having to use every muscle to hold yourself in a position which is define, which is nice for you for a moment. Breathe and expand through the tummy. Let the breath go. Now breathe into your chest and expand and push your body against that bolster if it's there. Let the breath go. Walk your hands back, lift your body up. Round through your back in the opposite direction, find that nice sleep point. Couple of breaths. And then it's very loose but comfortable and enjoyable cat-cows. Let's move through. Take your bolsters back out. We're going to go back out to that position we were in before. So we're going to walk the hand back. We're going to drop that bolster. If you want to go a bit further, you can actually drop it just below your hips rather than on the hips this time. You've got that choice. You can still have the hip bones on it, or you can actually drop it across the pelvis. Which means if you're across the pelvis, you're going to be dropping your hips down and you're going to be able to lift yourself up nice and high through your arms. So you've got all those different choices. You can still be down, you can have the bolster here and just come up a little bit, or you can be all the way up. You're going to squeeze the bum muscle and push those the hips or the pelvic region in towards the bolsters. And most of you will notice, I can't ask you because it sounds up, but you might notice that being up is more comfortable because you've got that bolster protecting you and you don't feel quite as much pressure through the hips and through the back. But remember, we're not putting it in the lower back, we're putting it in the glute muscles and drawing the shoulder blades together to bring the chest apart. Big stretch through the front of the body. Feet together. If you feel you can, you always try and lift the feet. Do not have to. Quite intense, so just be careful. One more breath. Feet are going to come down. Lift off. Oh, round. So we're going to go into child's pose and back up a couple of times. So we're encouraging that movement. Well done for that team, you did a fantastic job. There's only one last thing that you can do, but you can sit out of it if you want, or you can just go back into one of the more comfortable positions. So we're going to move the bolster this time. Keep it down. Just for those that want to, I'm going to drop the hips, keep the hips off the ground, keep the knees on the ground, squeeze the bum, push the hips towards the ground, and push through the hands. So you see where we progress from being our elbows. So for those that want to be up and have got the ability to be up, you're going to be up. The rest are going to be down. Shoulders are down away from your ears. You're letting know that you've not got the support of the bolster. You're going to stretch the body, but it doesn't matter which position you've chosen, bolster or no bolster, low or high. I want you to roll across your hips from side to side. Now, you're going to feel that stretch moving all the way down from underneath the rib cage, down through each hip, down towards the knee. Now stay on one side a little bit longer than the other. So stay on one side and breathe in and expand through the chest. And then exhale onto the other side. One more time, breathe in. And back. Take a breath in. Very kindly to yourself. Stop at the middle point before, we're not going to go straight down, we're going to do a cat-cow, very loose, just to release that lower spine, and now round and come down. So Yeah, it's similar to what I said at the beginning when we're moving our arms over our head. You're finding which points are tight, you're finding which points need release. The more you rush through things, the more you'll damage yourself. So if it feels uncomfortable, don't rush to get out of it. Find a place where you can take it in the opposite direction, stretch it out and breathe. It's important that you do that. So let's come up, rounding, and down, rounding, just a couple of times. Up, rounding, and down, rounding. And then come up nice and tall, hands underneath shoulders, knees underneath hips, and just let your hips start to draw some figures of eights, because you might not want to arch it again, but we might want to, you know, in the cow position, we might just want to keep it rounding up to release any stress. So we're going to let the hips rotate. You're going to feel quite a lot in the lower spine here, even though everything was done really through the bum and the shoulders. There's no doubt that your spine's going to have been compressed at some more. Just allow the hips to rotate and move as much as you feel. Really important that these little transitional stops are worked as much as the actual poses, because you need that relief. Okay, now move your hands back, come onto your toes and roll into your forward fold to release your spine as comfortably as you can. Hands on your legs, you can keep your knees bent, you can have straight legs. It really isn't a problem what you decide. Now, just going to stretch through the shoulders, then we're going to stretch through more shoulders, and then we're going to do something with the chair. We have a bit of a cool down. So we're going to come down, and we're going to lie. I'm going to bend my legs so you can see me properly, but you don't. Keep you straight, just stay as you are on the mat. It's just me moving so you can see it better. What we're going to do is we're going to lie down on the ground. Let your legs fall flat, it's just about holding away from you. We're going to take the hands out to the side. Now have a look. Are your shoulders level with your elbows, or are your elbows down below the shoulders? So have a look. I can use the front of the mat to make sure mine are alright, but you need to make sure you're comfortable as well. And we're going to take one hand out so it's nice and long. So the fingers, middle fingers in line, right in the middle of that shoulder. And we're going to push against it and see if we can rotate. It's going to feel comfortable, so we don't have to be very high. And in fact, if you wanted to use the bolster to actually move your body, so the weight's there, but you're not having to hold yourself up, because some people find that a bit uncomfortable. You've got the choice to rest your head on it if you want. It's up to you. The bolster's there for you to help you feel better and comfortable in the position. Take advantage of it. If you feel you can, you're going to roll back down and you're going to bend your elbow and then do the same thing again. It's a much more intense stretch. I do want you to be careful. Again, don't want you to hurt yourself. It's not what it's about. And then we're going to come back down. Release that hand. Let's do it on the inside. So take the arm out towards the other side and we're going to roll. Again, use the bolster, use a brick, use a couch if you need to lean against it, use your bed if you're in your bedroom, whatever you need to do to make sure you feel comfortable. And just encouraging the stretch of the shoulder and hurt yourself. A couple of breaths. Put your head down if it feels more comfortable. Rolling back over. Let's bend it and make sure the elbows still align with the shoulders. And if you feel straight, if you want to come out of it completely, if you feel you can, let's have a bend through it and just encourage a bit of. Again, you can drop your head down around the bolster. What feels nice to you, really. And then rolling back over. We're going to come back up nice and slowly and sink into our beautiful pose. Learn to love this position. Oh, you can move a little stretch. And just sway from side to side. Now, you can use the sideboard, a window ledge. I'm going to pull the chair here for this. So, my dad's computer chair, so you can use anything. I've got a yoga wheel. You could use a yoga wheel. You could use a poof. really doesn't matter. But what I want you to do is walk yourself back, hold your hands down on it, make sure your knees are pretty much in line with your hips as comfortably as you can be. Obviously, they might be a little bit underneath. That's fine. And we're going to hold onto that chair and we're just going to let the shoulders fall through, head fall through. Now, what you're going to find is your shoulder blades are going to collapse. So if it feels uncomfortable, you can try the sensation of rotating the biceps towards the ceiling a little bit, just to stop them from going too far. If you feel comfortable enough to, let them go, because we're just encouraging that stretch through the front of the body, releasing tension through the shoulders. And as you can see, for me, the more I do it, the lower I actually get, because the more relaxed I am. But it's quite an intense position. So if you need to bring your knees in and do it a little less sort of exaggerated, and you can do it low. I mean, I've got your rungs on my chair, so if I wanted, I could actually walk my hands up in any way or any direction. But it's what feels comfortable for you. And in the position, if you feel you are happy and dropping the body down, you get a nice stretch to the shoulders, and you feel comfortable to, you can even begin to let the hips have a move from side to side. Just think about your breath. So every time you breathe in, you're going to breathe in and really expand through your chest, and just exhale like that. Again, if you want to put something underneath your head while you're in the position to catch it, or underneath the shoulders, it's really entirely up to you. You can walk your knees back if you want to deepen the stretch. We tend to do a lot in this kind of stretch. We don't tend to do this very much with the shoulders. And it's really important, because actually we carry a lot of tension in the shoulders and upper back and through the front of our body, and we tend to close off our chest in a way to stop ourselves from breathing properly and opening up. So a couple more breaths. And then when you feel ready, just very carefully release that. And then rotate your spine in the now. We are going to be using the bolster in a minute, so we'll put that to one side. And we're just going to round through, come up, and now we're just going to rotate the shoulders in the opposite direction and start lifting them up and down. So we're re-engaging those muscles. And that's it, and then let your shoulders drop. Now, I did ask you to get a chair or a buffet or a yoga wheel or anything you like. This is quite an advanced, I would say, thing to do. So, I've also got another option if you haven't got a chair or you've got something soft you can use. You can even use it on the side of the sofa or hanging off your bed. And they're propped up today. Literally, I've got props, and I'm going to be propping myself. So, you've got to be able to know that you can catch yourself and come out of this. This is why we've got the chair for a particular challenging side of things, but we can always start with. What you're going to do, if we had exercise balls, we'll be very happy, won't we? We're all going to lie ourselves there and see if we can drop our hands down to the ground. Okay. Now, I know I've got quite a flexible spine. I know I can come out of it. So I have the chair. However, I realise that I can't lean across it because I have these bits. So it's in a high chair for me. And it means I can hold on to the back of the chair when I go. So for me, I've got to cushion down. I don't want to, and again, this is quite challenging. So I'm saying only do it if you feel pretty intense. But the thing is, you've got the chair, so the back's supported. You can even straighten the legs if you like. Now, I know one of you got a yoga wheel, so I'm going to teach you how to do that. To come out of this, by the way, you're going to hold on to the chair as best as you can. And safety first. And there's some of you sitting there thinking, I'm not going to do any of this. And I don't blame you. It's just something I've never done with you before, and now that you're ambitious people, to bear with me, I'm trying to get my yoga reel. Very good. And there is at least one person. So, with a yoga wheel, actually put it underneath the back, hold onto the side, and lean yourself against it, and then roll. And you can keep holding on, or you can take your hands over the top. You can leave your knees bent, you can put your feet out in front. It really is dependent on what you feel comfortable to do, but these are designed to support your spine and let your shoulders drop. So it's quite intense, but when you come out of it, it's nice and safe because you can roll yourself back down. And come out of it. So I gave you some options there. That was very intense, wasn't it? And I'm not saying we're going to do that every class. And I want you to practice it so you feel comfortable. You will feel quite a lot in the lower spine there. If you want to carry on hanging off your buffet, you're probably saying, no, enough for my back, and I don't blame you. However, aren't I nice? Let's have a little reliever. Get your bolster or your cushion. You are going to place it lengthways up the mat. And you are going to lie down with it in between your shoulders. Let your head fall back. Let your arms apart. You see, I know everyone will do this one because it's quite nice. I know the arms are a little bit nasty. Drop your shoulders. Let your shoulders be nice and heavy against that. And what you'll find is your back is nice and soft for a moment. Take your hands out to the side. Just rest everything as best as you can. And breathe. You probably think the live feed's frozen, but it's not. I'm just enjoying being still for a moment. So we're just going to let the breath keep moving. Let the back be heavy. Because you'll have a slight lift from underneath your back. You can allow your back just to start to relieve and relax and let go. There's quite a tension in that lower back. And I do encourage that you do these kind of things regularly and build up your strength. So you might find, oh God, what's that chair contraption doing? But over time, you might find that's an okay thing to do. It's about what regular practice. Okay. Now, next, very gently roll to one side and take the bolster from underneath our back. Drop it down and let the shoulders drop against the ground. Your head, hands underneath your head, support it. And let your back round and ground down. And then we're going to lift the feet off the ground and hover them. And you're going to feel your lower back completely engaged with the ground. So squeeze your tummy muscles so you can feel that lower back. Put your knees together. And let's roll the weight. One side. What a lovely reliever. And then come back over the top. And onto the other side. Now if you want to take your hands out to the side and drop them down, you can do. It really doesn't matter. Come back up nice and slowly. Lift your knees and we're going to roll the knees towards. Now if you want to hook them and hold on to them, you can. But the sensation you want is that this area between your lower back and your tailbone is lifted off the ground. Put your hands underneath if you want. So we're just going to lift and squeeze the tummy muscles. Now lift up and put your hands in a diamond shape. So just underneath your back and just rest your hands on it so you can feel your hands in your lower back. Just give yourself a little bit of a massage and just let the knees have a move around on this point so you can feel your lower back sinking into your hands and then change it in the opposite direction. Place your feet down. And I'm afraid my hair is kind of in the way, so I'm going to have to rest my leg block, but you can do it if you want to. We're going to put the hand up for one foot, so left, no, right leg, right foot on left knee, bent knee. Hands out to the side. Let's roll the weight down to one side. See if you can straighten that top leg and let it go heavy. Now, bend the knee, lift up independently of that other leg and come back up. So you're making your back start to work and re-engage. Let's do that on the other side. So place your left foot on your right knee, hands come out to the side. Let's roll to one side. Straighten that leg if you feel you can. Let that leg and everything drop and go heavy, opening up through the back. Now bend your knee independently, lift it up off the ground. Bring your other foot off the ground. Open up your legs. Bring your bum up so your tailbone's lifting. I want you to reach in between your legs and grab the inside of your feet and pull your knees down towards the insides of your armpits and lift your bum off the ground. Keep that squeeze going and let yourself roll around. Now if you're doing this properly, feel like this lower lumbar region, which we've just worked here, is actually getting its maximum kind of stretch. Quite nice. And you can bring it in further and lift and roll. You can bring the knees down as much as you want. You can roll from side to side. You can roll back onto your lower spine. Quite nice just to relieve it. And then I want you to see if you can open up your legs, take your hands to the insides of your legs, and just move your hips. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take them down with the hands, bring them back in, and take them back out again. Bring them down, bring them up, take them back out, and then bring your knees together and just rock from side to side. Cross your feet over and let's roll up to sitting. In the house, there you go. Only hiding a grotty fireplace. And then it's nice and tall. And we are going to just oscillate through the spine because it feels really nice. And then we're going to start to rotate up and back down. Let the shoulder move, so nice fluid and back down. So we're not going all the way around, we're going halfway and stop and all the way back down. And now let's go all the way around 3 times in one direction, just letting the breath be nice and neutral. Feeling that lower spine, lovely opening. And let's change the direction. Let's go again in the opposite direction. Moving. That's nice. And then come up. What we're going to do is going to keep that tailbone in the middle, and we're going to just, like you're lifting through the rib cage and moving this area of the body, and you're actually going to feel like your tailbones, the weight's going around in a circle across your tailbone, and you're going to feel your lower back having a massage. So just lift, let it drop. So it's not a case of moving the whole body round. You're actually just isolating from underneath your rib cage. Just in one direction, and let's change the direction. Oh, no, that feels really lovely. One more time. And then come back up and open up your hands, and let's have a reach. That's it. And then place one hand down, come over the top, nice big reach. And exhale. Inhale and reach. Exhale. Inhale and reach and retain. Exhale. Inhale up. And exhale, your hands out into a lattice position in front of you. Exhale, round and let your back slump. And then up, let the body flare, take your hands slightly behind your head. And let it go again. One more time, hand up. And then bring your hands down behind your back, keep them up against your spine, and just push your chest forward as comfortably as you can. Drop your feet out in front. We're going to bring one leg up and we're going to pop it over the top. I do it in the opposite direction so you can see me. So pop your foot over the top. I'm going to move away from that foot, over the top. A little lean. You go for quite a lot of restriction through the lower back. So use the air to breathe in, to expand through the tummy and into the back, so you're really pushing that air in. And it'll be nice and relaxing. Muscles nice and soft. Let's let that go. Give your shoulders some movement as you place the foot down on the other side. And let's take it round in the other way. So, nice and relaxed. Let your tummies go nice and soft. More breath. And then rotate yourself back to centre. Under your feet, hold on to your knees, and really, really pull up so you're sitting really tall. Remember when you're at school and you're sitting up tall, you get to go home quicker. I'm ready. Big deep breath in. And let it slip your chin in. And again, come up. Get your chin up. Exhale. Contracting around. Best time. Go. I'm actually going to finish off by standing up because we're going to do a movement to release the spine while we're standing up. We're going to very gently in our own time. Come back. Come into a forward bend with your knees bent. Place your hands on your knees. Lift your head up. Contract. Hold that really lovely sweet point. Have a little movement through your hips. I'm dancing. I don't dance at the club like this. I don't go to clubs. So. And then inhale, nice and high. And release. So what we're going to do is take your hands up. And we're just going to let them sway down the front, lean back, opening up 3 times in one direction. It's a lovely opening. You feel like massaging the lower spine. And let's change the direction. I was thinking I won't be able to walk tomorrow, but you will, I promise, this will be fine. Make sure you're stretching and moving in the morning though, because you will feel stiff. It's probably working some muscles that we haven't used in a long time. And come up nice and high, and just have a little sway through the hips. And all we're going to do is we're going to pretend we're playing golf. We're going to have a reach and a stretch, and then we're just going to move as gently. We're not throwing ourselves. Moving, opening up the top arm as high as we can. And again on the other side. We're going to do it one more time. Last time. Nice and slowly. And forward, full drop. One more breath. Bend your knees, lift your head up. Contract around, inhale, open up nice and high. Yourself today. Bring your hands into prayer. Breathe in and out. Take your hands up. Exhale. Oh. Take the hands back up. Bring the hands together and bring them back down. Namaste. And see how you're